mean, there was once a time where we wanted to rename the whole company called Jira. I want to just like scratch the whole Atlassian brand and just like call everything Jira, because Jira, everyone knew Jira, but no one knew Atlassian. And we want to call Confluence should have been called Jira Pages, for example, and Bitbucket Jira Code.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Summer of Atlassian 4.0. Today I have the honor and pleasure of chatting with Sven Peters, one of the legends within the Atlassian ecosystem, and definitely, I keep telling Atlassians this, and I keep getting in trouble, but one of my top 10 Atlassian employees. But then they always ask me, who are the top 10? So Sven, welcome. You made the top 10.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, actually. I would just like asking who's your number one, but hey, don't go into this specific thing.
Somebody has actually stopped me and like one of the Atlassians were like, okay, so give them to me in order then. And I'm like, well, let's see.
Yeah, that can be tricky.
When working with Atlassians, like it's so interesting because I've worked with so many companies throughout my career. Microsoft was a huge part of my life growing up in IT. I never had my top 10 Microsoft employees that I interacted with.
All right. Yeah, there's a special thing about Atlassians. I don't know. Special personality. I feel the same. I've been working for quite some companies, but with Atlassian, I don't know. I have the special feelings about some of the, or most of the employees, actually. But now we are so many, right? We're so many. We're more than 12,000, I think. So there's a lot. So being in the top 10 from that, it's just like, wow. I'm just like, I'm humbled. It's like amazing.
But y'all have some like characteristics that make you all so individually unique yet fun to work with. I have other than your sales team, I think your sales team can use a little bit of love. But other than the sales team, I have yet to meet an Atlassian that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this person.
All right, cool, great.
But so Team 25, you and Mark Cruz were very, very busy. Y'all were doing some tremendous amount of work. I think you and I, or your team and our team, the Jira Life, we were hustling at Team 25.
Yeah. So yeah, what Mark and I did, we did a lot of stuff, actually. So I ran workshops that you probably haven't seen, but that was also in the little bit in the hotels. So I was running around there, running workshops, talking to customers, had customer briefings. But what Mark and I did together was really we were hosting the live stream. So everything just like from the beginning of the moderation, introducing the keynote, to having really between what we call super sessions, the main stage sessions about the strategy collection, the teamwork collection, and AI. So in between, we had some sections on the live stream, and we invited some guests that we really wanted to talk to and we want to bring on the live stream. And Mark and I were just like spending the whole day interviewing people, running around on the show floor, talking to folks. That was quite fun. I really enjoyed that, and had so many great conversations, and we had so much fun playing games with the folks, for example. Some fun games, we surprised them, some fun stuff. So yeah, super enjoyed that. Yeah, super busy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go to teams to learn, but with the amount of work and effort that you guys were putting in there, it definitely, it's a fun job. I'll say it that, because my team, we were running around interviewing, talking with people, and I would say there's not enough minutes in the day. The conference goes quick.
It goes super quick. It's a fun job, but then at the same time, it's you put a lot of energy in that job, because you put yourself in front of so many people, which is really rewarding also, but at the same time also very energy draining. So I can share that with you. I'm more of an introvert. So
Mark said the same thing.
No way, really? Mark is an introvert? Yeah. Wow, that's okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, maybe. Okay, great. Yeah. So, maybe. But maybe, yeah. So, just like everyone just drains energy from me if I talk to people. It costs me energy, and I need time to reload that and definitely a team. I didn't get a lot of time to read stories. But at the same time, it's totally rewarding. It's so fun to and so good to speak to so many people, and also to talk to customers and hear their stories, how they use Jira, Confluence, Loom, Bitbucket, all the apps. That is super interesting, and that just like also on the other side of the battery. I don't know. Maybe I have a other battery charges the other battery that fuels my energy again for the next half year until we go to Team 25 in Barcelona, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I had a chance after Team 25 ended. The following day, Mark, which again I try. I'm like I was trying to tell you we're not gonna transition to the Mark show, but I wanted to share something interesting. So Mark went to Disneyland, and I'm a huge Disney fan. And I was at Disneyland after Team, which is not advisable after you spend. My world had already spent 7 days of 12 to 18-hour days, right? And so we go to Disneyland, and I run into Mark for lunch, and you said something really interesting about that drain, right? Like I got to see Mark in a state that I felt very authentic, very real, very just I'm done. I'm tired. It's been a long week, and it was very humbling and very interesting to see and be able to speak with him. Get a little bit of insights as to all the great work you guys did, but most importantly, see him with his like just relaxed, right? It was because I'm right there with you, right? Like to put on it's not a stressful job, right? You're not like stressing out because you think you're going to do a bad job, but it requires a lot of adrenaline to get in front of the camera and record and drive a crowd and and stuff like that. But it's mentally taxing.
And I recently talked to my boss Dom Price about that. And our job is it to stay on stages, to entertain people, to teach people new stuff, and it is very energy draining. If you just like stay on stage for 1 hour and entertain, I don't know, 200, 300, 400, how many people, right?
Yeah.
It looks like just like, oh, this person has a lot of energy, but afterwards I'm just like, if the curtain closes and I go backstage, I am really tired.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But that's part of the job, right?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing though. Like I think if folks aren't used to doing presentations or being in front of a crowd, even though if it's like it's a burst, right? Like maybe it's an hour, maybe it's a couple of hours, but when you're done with it, you feel like you just worked like a 12-hour shift at something, right? Because you're just so tired. I've done in these situations where I've done like Jira trainings, and I'll jump on for just 60 minutes of a training, and when I walk out of there, just the energy you had to bring, like you're done. You're like so drained.
Yeah, I mean, you need to keep the energy high, right? To just like let people also just experience it and just be present. And you need to just like, it's your job to keep the energy high. And that takes a lot of energy from you.
So how did you land in this role? How did you get to Atlassian?
So that's a great question. I love this question. So it is the year of 2011. And I was using actually not Jira, but Crucible Fisheye.
Okay.
And then I saw at a conference in Belgium, someone staying with a pop-up and just like saying, hey, we're looking for Atlassian ambassadors. So at that time, Atlassian was pretty small. I think we were around 300 people. And they didn't know how to tackle the European market. So they needed developers that want to tap into marketing, and they called them ambassadors for each of the European countries. And I was in Germany, so that's and then I just like applied. I thought I have never ever will make it. Through telephone calls, I just like said, okay, I failed again. But then they invited me to the next call, to the next call, to the next call. They invited me to come to Amsterdam. And we didn't have an office in Amsterdam at that time. It was a co-working space in Amsterdam. And then they called me and I got this job without actually being a presenter before, but from that point on, I was representing Atlassian first in Germany, and then at the end we just like said, okay, that's probably more a worldwide role. So just like got to travel the world.
Nice. And how does that? I'm trying to ask a question without getting too personal, right? But traveling around the world, as we're talking about, the stress of work, that in itself is very taxing. Like I went to the Atlassian office in San Francisco. It's a 75-minute flight for me to get. It's like it takes me like 75 minutes to get there just in the air. But that day was like, man, this is a lot of, it's taxing to travel, even if it's just an hour. Like, how do you deal with that, or just going all over the world?
I think it's a little bit of also of a routine. Just like going to the airport and just like you know how this things works. It's not exciting anymore. Going to a hotel. That's a lot of routine in there. But as I said, it's just like part of the job also to travel. And what I learned throughout the years is that there can be time of really condensed travel. Let's say I'm going to a 3-4 conference in just 2 weeks or something, and then travel around. But then I need time again also to spend at home to recharge that batteries. Sometimes I'm good at that. Sometimes I'm really bad at that. I'm also talking a lot to Mark about it because he's the same thing. And sometimes we just like take too much on our plates and things look good on paper. Actually, if you go there and then you see just like, oh yeah, I can squeeze that conference in, no problem. Oh yeah, there's a user group. Let's go to that. Looks good on paper, but if you just like do it, then you feel like, okay, I'm done, right? And I'm yeah, sorry. I'm just like coming from a little bit of a travel season, and I'm now at home for the next 1.5 weeks, and I'm really enjoying it. I felt also with my last travel that I did. I went to Tallinn in Estonia to a conference. I came back and said, okay, I don't want to meet people anymore. I don't want to see people anymore. I can't talk to people anymore, and that's a sign for me that it was too much of a travel. Yeah, but it's taxing. But you need to keep the balance somehow. And sometimes I'm good at that, and sometimes I'm bad at that.
Now, again, I don't. I'm trying to be careful because traveling and being in front of folks, it's taxing, but there's also a huge reward to it, right? Like, what's one of the things that you're most proud of with your role as a developer advocate? Like, what's one of your favorite memories or moments that you have as part of this job?
Also, great story. I was at a conference. I don't know where. I think it was in. Let me think. I think it was in London. So one year I went to the conference and I talked about collaboration, and we were talking about different kinds of things that you can do to better collaborate. And I mentioned just like, yeah, we have an open space office, and it's easy to just like go to people because you see they are not busy at the moment, so you can go to there. So that was the story of the talk. The next year, I talked about a lot of other stuff, right? I talked about just like comments and how you just like collaborate on comments in Jira and in Confluence, and all of the things, how you better collaborate, understanding each other better, you name it. But then I came back the next year to the same conference, and this guy came up to me and says, "Hey, yeah, great talk last year. I really loved it. And you just like mentioned so many good things. But one thing that we did is we teared down all the walls in our office and made it an open space office." And said, "Wow, I just did a talk, and people take that and tear down walls. That's just like amazing how much impact you can have." And also talking to some other folks and says, yeah, this talk that you did really changed the way how we approach software development, and just like recalibrated our thinking around collaboration and how we do things. So if I get that feedback, I'm just like, wow, it's that's amazing. I mean, really, I'm just like talking to people, and they come back and really apply that and do stuff differently now. That's just like super cool. Really love that.
So on a very similar thread, you you kind of travel the world evangelizing, best practices, I would assume, right? And and really kind of pushing the envelope on teams to how to embrace the Atlassian technology and the Atlassian tools. How do you deal with like imposter syndrome of having to maybe know everything but yet know nothing? Like how do you balance that out?
So, I think I learned that over the years that if you people are interested, they don't. There's no right and wrong, right? It's just like it's working for your team or it's not working for your team, and telling people stories that worked for one team, and you just like be totally honest about it and say, hey, it works for one team that I just like worked in. It might not work for your team, but the principle you can apply,
Hmm.
and that helps me to justify a little bit. Like it's not the truth. There's no truth in this is the one way we should go. There are many ways how teams can work, and it depends on the team to find the best way. And now I'm just like staying on stage and telling one way. It can inspire people. People can also say just like that's totally stupid, Sven. It will never work in our team. I heard that. I heard that a lot of times, especially when I was just promoting Atlassian ways of working to real enterprise teams back in the days when we were small and nimble and tried a lot of stuff, right? And those big enterprise companies were saying this will never work in our enterprise. And I said, yeah, maybe it doesn't, but take it or leave it. And that helps me also to justify the stories and tell people it might work, it might not work. Try it
Mm.
out, and then also apply the principles that we applied and come up with your own way of working, right? Make your own ideas how to work better. These are just like something that inspires you to think about other ways of working, and not just like stick to the processes that you might have
Yeah.
read in a book, or because you went to a scrum course and someone told you you have to do your daily stand up every day, right? At 9 a.m. we are sitting there and we talk about what did you do yesterday? What will you do today? What are the blockers, right? Just like mix things up and see the story behind those rituals or things that you have been doing every I don't know for years now, and mix these things up and think about it. What lies behind that, and why do we need that, or do we really need that ritual anymore? And can we change it and try an experiment? I
Yeah.
recently did a talk in London about work experiments that I really like, because it talks about um, creating a safe space for work experiments, saying we change the way we work, right? And often it is like a whole transformation, right? You plan it, you train people, and then you just like change the way you work. But this is, you don't know if it really works. But with work experiments, running small little experiments in your workplace, they say, now we change it slightly. We doing things differently. We, I don't know, we document things differently, and we make it an experiment. We just try it for 2 months, right? And then we measure how if things are better now, and do that, and that's really the way to go, right? You need to
Yeah,
you need
but
to
but
try.
there's the my observations and well, a couple of things like a lot of things are coming to my mind right now. So it's hard for me to organize my thoughts. But one, like what really resonates with what you said, right, is sharing your story. I think a lot of times folks do come to conferences, they come to events expecting like a guide, like a steps A through Z, and they kind of want to follow it. And I feel like that's where I get a lot of pressure because when
Mhm.
with this particular channel, right, a lot of people come here to learn how to do X, Y, and Z and steps A, B, C, right? Like they want to know exactly the steps, and they don't want a step to be skipped, right? They if I were to glance over a little detail, like the video's shot, right? Because I've skipped over how to do something. So there's a bucket of people that need that, but there's also a bucket of people that just are looking for inspiration, right? They're more curious, and they're just trying to see like, well, what is possible? But it's hard to appease for both audiences because one needs very prescriptive instructions, and the other one just needs a little bit of a, like a little spark to get them going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think we need to bring that everyone needs just the spark, and that everyone needs to think for themselves what's best for us. Because, as I said, like things that works for one organization doesn't work in another organization. Because people are different, organizations are different, the products are different. So they need to find their best way how to work. I also think like that. This is also something when I sit in front of the audience, just like I'm sitting in the audience and see the speaker on stage, I want to learn something. It doesn't have to teach me really something just like something really super new that now I'm just like changing everything. It's just like some small things that I want to learn. That's why I'm coming to this conference. And most people in the audience are friendly people. They are sitting there and they want you to succeed because they want to learn from you, from your experience, and see what you did. And they necessarily don't need the best new framework, but they just like want to get inspired.
So when you step on stage, how much do you have like pre-scripted versus how much are you up there going with your gut?
I need to. I'm very pre-scripted. Not that I know exactly what I want to say, but I know the topic and I'm sticking along with this topic. I'm also if you once see my talks, they have a lot of slides, and these slides are a little bit like my speaker notes. I know exactly where I want to take the story, and I want to nail the story. And once I did a talk a couple of times. Sometimes I'm delivering a talk 30 times or something. I know exactly when to make pauses, when the audience just like when it's funny, when the audience starts laughing, and when the audience is like sitting there and just like want to see what's next. And then I feel like I don't want to just like come up with new things on stage right away. I'm not good at that. I guess
very dangerous to do. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but I think Mark would be good at that. I think he's just I don't know. Maybe we should ask Mark about that. But I'm more the person that knows exactly what I want to say and deliver the content. And if you watch one recording and then watch a recording from another conference, the words might be different, but the story is
the same.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
I asked because so at Team 25, I had an opportunity to do my first talk.
Congrats! What was it about?
I was a technical talk on teaching folks how to use the plans capability, the advanced roadmaps capability within Jira. And I went in with this PowerPoint, right, with my slides, ready to do my presentation. But I did something very dumb, very, very early that I kind of regret a little bit. And that is, the talk was very basic. It was supposed to be for beginners, right? It was supposed to be here's how to get started. The dumb thing I did was I asked the room if ever like who had created a plan before, and like 90% of the room raised their hand. So in that moment, I was like, well, shoot, what can I teach you at this point if my presentation was the beginner stuff? So I asked the room, do y'all want to go off scripts? Do you want me to just like, teach you some stuff, some interesting things, but not necessarily follow a specific flow or script? And people said yeah, but then the reviews at the end said no.
I feel you totally, right? If you just like, and that's, I can totally feel you with that. Having that situation where you think like, oh, oh, these people know more than I do about the topic. Maybe, shit. What can I say? What can I teach them? Yeah, totally, totally feel you there. But
But
yeah.
I guess I wanted to ask you though, like, have you ever had a presentation where you read that feedback and it was just like a punch to the gut? And how did you deal with that kind of?
So yeah, I'm reading the feedback from all my talks. If I got the opportunity, so a lot of conferences are sharing feedback. I'm reading that. Two things about that. First, I once did a talk, maybe in the same direction, that had really bad reviews. And then it was the first time I did this talk, and what I found was what I found was it was not the right audience for this talk. This talk was not bad, but it was not the right audience. So I learned a little bit. Just try to look at the audience first before I do the talk, or I create the talk. So it was an enterprise audience. I totally failed with that. Second thing, I forgot what I wanted to talk about.
That always happens. That happens to me so much. Where it's like I end up telling people, like people will ask me like, how do you do this in Jira? I'm like, there's 3 ways to do it, and I start with the first one, and 30 minutes later, I was like, wait, there was 2 other ways.
No, it came back. Second thing is, if I do a talk and I just like get good reviews, that's not helping me either, right? Really, the ones that tell me just like, you need to change this or that, or I didn't like this part of the talk. That really tells me, okay, great, I learned something, I can improve. Otherwise, I can't improve. I can't really improve. And then also, some people say, "Oh no, this was too provocative," and I really like that because then I know, okay, I pushed it a little bit further, right? It's not just boring. Everyone just like agrees. If some people, if I have just like, let's say you can rate from 1 to 5. If I just have 5s, I don't know what to improve, right? First thing. Second thing, it's maybe common sense what I talked about. But if I got just 1s and 5s, nothing in between, right? Or not a lot in between, then I know, oh, you're right. I really pissed off some people here in this talk. That's great because then I'm controversial and that's good. So I made people a little bit angry, and that's what I also like, right? Not when everyone is happy, just like there needs to be some people that are just like saying, no, I hated this.
It's hard though. I will tell you that if anybody watching, if you're ever thinking of doing a presentation, I would say practice first. That was another mistake. So we went to team, and I just had no time. Like I assumed because I do these things every day this way that when I was in front of people that it would be the same thing. But the biggest problem that I did not account for was that I was going to have a technology problem.
What happened?
My monitor, my laptop ended up going to the projector and to a tiny little screen like 10 miles away, and I'm trying to move my mouse. And so yes, that was problem number 1. Problem number 2, clicking in Jira and navigating Jira. I'm a pro. I can walk you through the old UI because I'm not a big fan of the new UI. I can walk you through the old UI in my sleep, but doing it with a trackpad is different than doing it with a mouse. And so that I learned quickly. I was like, well, next time, if I ever get a chance to do this again, I'm bringing a mouse.
Yeah. So are you just like submitting again? Do you try to do it again?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little traumatized. I don't like letting people down. I have a huge problem with letting people down, and I feel like I should have prepared for it. I try to Elon Musk this thing. I try to just like get on stage because just like you, right? We were at team. Imagine if you had to do a talk right at the end after the team session that you just had, because mine was the last talk at the last minute of the last day, and by then, like we had done so many interviews, so many talking, so much walking, so much everything, events, parties, the whole 9 yards. When I got there, I had not had even 5 minutes to even think about it. And second, the amount of pressure that Atlassian put on folks, this was the irony of, I think, of this team thing. The whole team experience for me was a team-based event. We had a team. There was like 4 or 5 of us, 6 if you include my wife. My kids were running around helping out, right? And I had a support group the entire time. When I got to my talk, they kicked everybody out because it was at capacity. So I'm like scrambling by myself to do everything, where I needed my team with me to help me do my talk.
Yeah. Yeah, but you should do it again. I mean, your knowledge is so
I'll do it again.
valuable.
Sven, I'll do it again. It's whether
All
Atlassian
right.
wants to give me another shot. That's a different
Oh, why
question.
not? I mean, yeah, really. I mean, we need you on stage. You need to talk to people, and you need to explain people. You have so much knowledge, and people can learn so much from you. So you really should do it again.
So,
And we will give you the chance. Let me talk to the program team.
I know. Well, that's what I was going to tell you. So now that you've said that kind of opens up on the Jira Life, right? The podcast that I do.
Yeah.
We hit a huge milestone at Team 25. I don't know if
right.
you've had a chance to see it, but we got to sit down for like an hour and a half with Mike Cannon Brooks, right?
I listened to that episode actually. Yes.
Yeah. So that was like a huge, like, holy moly, we achieved like the coolest thing that we never thought was even going to be possible. But then right after, moments later, we basically entered a like, what's next?
Yeah,
Hey.
right.
And I was struggling with that for like the better part of a week or two, because like, to me, like, we hit a huge milestone, and I always need that North Star. I need some mission, something huge. And so the vision that I've given myself for the Jira Life, and that I've given to the team here, is we want to do a Jira Life at an Atlassian event. It doesn't have to be team, but we want to do an episode of the Jira Life where we do it on a stage with, whether it's Mike himself or some Atlassian. I think it'd be kind of cool to, to bring that Jira Life experience to the community where they're at in person.
I think that's a great idea. I think it would work pretty great to just like do a Jira Live on stage, and then let have a live audience there to listen to what you say. So, I really like that idea.
So that's the next goal. That's what we're gonna start lobbying, and we're gonna start figuring out how do we logistically do that. But that's gonna be our next major milestone of the Jira Life, is to do an in-person Jira Life where we have because we do live streams, we do like little things at the booths, but they're usually they're very unscripted. They're very just where we see people walking by and we're like, you come talk.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be kind of cool to be on a stage with an audience that's like there to watch and see an episode of the Jira Life, because the Jira Life is an interesting one. When we started the Jira Life, we had no idea that it was going to grow to become this community-driven thing that it has become now. We created it as a way to optimize the YouTube algorithm, right? Like, I came at it with a very YouTube business-centric approach, not knowing that people would actually want to watch it and like enjoying the community. And I'll tell you one of my favorite stories of being on the Jira Life. A couple years ago, well, actually a year ago, we had somebody come on. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Ray Foote? She was at Team 24. She was kind of doing a lot of media for Atlassian. A lot of the videos.
I don't know.
Probably not. No. Well, there's this lady, Ray Foote. So she very, very not introvert, very, very outspoken, very, very well to talk, right? She loved talking. And she shared a story with us on an episode of the Jira Life where her family, for every birthday, would go to a restaurant. They would go to a Red Robin burger place, hamburgers, and they would, they'd share a meal for her birthday. And it was something that was very profound to her and meant a lot to her. Well, Stu Lees that used to work at Revise, one of the first things he did when he came to the United States is he ran into a Red Robin. And so he went, took a picture and shared it. And to me, like, that was like the value of the Jira Life, which was like, you have two people, one from New Zealand and one from New York City, that are like totally polar opposite folks, right? Stu lives on a farm, right? And Ray lives in the Big Apple, and like 1 million people just on the one street, right? And to have that shared commonality but beyond techno, right? Because we can all come and say we all love Jira, but to have like that personable part, like that to me has been the most profound part of this whole experience.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot about just like the Atlassian community in general, right? I mean, I travel the world, and then I meet Jira users in India, in the States, in places like Norway or Switzerland, or I even was in South Africa and met Jira customers, and they have all this passion in common to come together in their spare time and talk about Atlassian apps. And I think that's just like, I mean, it's crazy, right? And you can just like go from one continent to the other, and you have similar conversations, and just like this Atlassian brings really people together, like the Jira life.
Yeah,
I think like it's really amazing. I mean,
yeah, I think
crazy.
I think it has a unique characteristics of who Atlassian is as a company, right? Because when you look at other companies, Atlassian's not the only company in the space, right? Like even within like Monday, ClickUp, Asana, folks use it. There's a following, right? But I just don't see like people really embracing it. Like I'll tell you another anecdote. Did you get a chance to go to Disneyland? Because I know Mark couldn't make it, but did you get a chance to go to Disneyland with the community?
Oh no, not with the community. No,
But you actually did get a chance to go to Disneyland?
Yeah. But years before, yeah, I was there before.
No, but you didn't go this. You didn't go this time this week.
No, I didn't go. No.
Ben, come on.
It's fine.
Well, so I'll share this story of community, right? So, I've been at Disneyland like 200 times. I go once a week, and so Disneyland is really, really. If you take away Jira from me, as long as you don't take Disney away from me, I'm fine.
But you live close, right? Close to Disneyland?
I'm like 5 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could have walked to Team 25. I chose not to, but I could have walked there. It's a little sketchy getting there, and there's a big giant bridge, but I try not to walk. But anyways, so I've been to Disneyland so many times, and I've been going to Disneyland since I could walk. My mom's best friend from high school, she used to work at Disney, and so every year she would take me growing up. And then once I was old enough to have my annual passes, we went. My whole graduating class from high school worked at Disney. Like
Wow.
half my family works at Disney, and so Disney's a huge impact. It's kind of hard to live in Anaheim and not be associated to the mouse one way, shape, or another. So needless to say, I've been there hundreds of times. But going with the Atlassian community, going with the champions, that was one of the memories that are going to be with me forever. Like it sounds cliche, but it was one of the most magical moments of my life. Like just being able to share something, because I share Jira so much, right? Like everybody knows that I like Jira a lot. I have a shirt that says I heart Jira, right? But to be able to share that part with the community, I think was the most meaningful part of team for me. To be able to take 200 folks, walk them through, show them the behind the scenes, help build memories. Like it was just awesome experience.
Yeah. I really love the Atlassian community, and as I said, I joined Atlassian in 2011.
But then you left, right?
Then I left. Yeah.
We gotta talk about that after this story. We gotta talk about that.
Yeah, so I left 2018 and came back actually almost 3 years ago. So I was doing something differently, and then I came back, and I almost forgot all about how many people I know from the community and how heartwarming this community really is, because everyone just like say, "Oh, Sven, you're back. We love you. It's great that you're back." And so it's the community members, it's the partners, it's the employees. So it's all of this Atlassian universe that I was out for almost 4 years. I worked for a partner for 1.5 years, and then the rest of the time work somewhere else. But then I forgot about all of this, and I forgot about how many people I know. And I came back, and it's like felt again. So just like, oh yeah, it felt like homecoming actually.
Yeah.
That was such a great and unexpected experience actually, because I thought like, okay, I was gone 4 years, things have changed, community has changed, but it was not still the same people, but still the same vibe actually, and still the same feeling. That was really why I said, okay, there's something unique here with that community.
What's been the biggest growth or change that you've seen since you've come back? Not within Atlassian, but within the community, right? Like, I'm assuming 2011, y'all had a small handful of products. 2025, we have a lot of products. We have collections now. We have Atlassian Intelligence. We have Rovo. What has the expectation from the community changed? Do you find people that are still new? Do you find people that are discovering Atlassian for the first time still in 2025?
I think all of this, yes. So to be honest, I mean, sure, it's bigger, it's larger. I mean, the whole community, when the community leaders are just in one room, there was the whole community back in the days, right?
Yeah. I've seen pictures where it was like a dozen people, and that was the community champions.
Yes, right. So, I mean, in terms of size, things have changed, but I still feel like there's this feeling of belonging in this community, and everyone I speak to that is also new to the community and comes new to the community says, "Oh wow, this is a special thing here. This feels like different than the other communities that I'm in." I mean, they are also friendly people, but this feels really, yeah, warm and welcoming. And I don't know. I think, yeah, sure, size has changed, people have changed, but it still feels the same. Actually, it's larger now. Yeah, sure. But
Did it ever surprise you though to run into somebody who hasn't heard of Atlassian or Jira?
No,
No.
I think there's especially Atlassian. It's like if I mean, just like just like with people that I know, they don't know Jira, coming from different backgrounds, and they don't know Atlassian. So it doesn't surprise me, but then it surprised me that people still don't know Atlassian. It's just like go somewhere and says, "Oh, I work for Atlassian," and some people say, "I don't know." I say, "Okay,
It's
Jira."
almost like, yeah. It's
Oh
almost
yeah,
like
we use Jira.
Yeah, it's almost like you got to tell people I work for Jira.
Yeah, I mean, there was once a time where we wanted to rename the whole company, called Jira. I want to just like scratch the whole Atlassian brand and just like call everything Jira, because Jira, everyone knew Jira, but no one knew Atlassian. And we want to call Confluence should have been called Jira Pages, for example, and Bitbucket Jira Code. No joke. That was really a.
That was the time. That would. I mean, I always thought that's why you guys went with Jira Align, because I'm like, you guys are just latching onto that Jira brand because Align has nothing to do with Jira.
Could be, yeah. But yeah, Atlassian wasn't well known for a long time.
Yeah, Atlassian, the brand of Atlassian, it's almost what you just described, almost the opposite of what Facebook did with Meta, right? Because Zuckerberg had this idea that, well, Facebook's just one of the products, but we are much broader than the products. And I think you lose a lot of your identity there because the people knew Facebook, right? And people know Jira, but to kind of, not be that thing that people vision in their minds, like, I don't know, I think it'd be tough. We had to make a call. Like when we created the Jira Life, one of our things was like, do we call it the Jira Life? We're gonna talk about Confluence. We're gonna talk about Bitbucket, and we were not sure if calling it the Jira Life meant we can only talk about Jira.
So what you came up with? You can talk about Confluence, right?
No, we can't. We decided, we researched, and I looked at my channels and stuff, and we researched and we determined people will be okay with not talking only about Jira, but we wanted to latch on the brand Jira, knowing that everybody knew Jira. But knowing that the people that care or are engaged with Jira are also okay about us talking about Confluence and Bitbucket and everything else. But we locked down on that brand recognition that we're like, everybody knows Jira.
So Alex, tell me, you're along with the community, right?
Yeah. Well, kind of.
So when did you touch Atlassian the first time?
So I did 2016. I came in from the Team Foundation Server world. I used Microsoft's Team Foundation Server, which is now Visual Studio Online. I was in IT. Actually, so this is why I share a lot of. I know I'm trying to really keep my number of times I say Mark in this call to a minimum. But Mark and I, we worked at Boeing in the same program way back.
Oh, wow.
Mark and I are very close in age, and so he's I think a couple years older than me. And so him and I were in this rotation program at Boeing on or around the same time. And so I started there and I was doing TFS, but then I got hired. I used to live in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm originally from California. I got moved. I was forced to move to St. Louis. I did not like St. Louis at all. And a competitor had a job. They went to Boeing. They set up at a bar across the street, and they basically gave work away, like jobs, to anybody who wanted to relocate. And so I found the one manager that was trying to hire in California. I'm like, this is my ticket back to paradise. And so I took it, sight unseen, not knowing what the heck I signed up for. And my first day on the job, the guy's like, all right, here's your login for Jira. Have at it. And I'm like,
All right.
I hated Jira. Not that Jira was bad, but I hated it because I hated that I had to change applications. I hated that like Jira Pages wasn't a thing. I hated that Jira Code wasn't a thing because I was like, in the Microsoft world in TFS, everything happened within your IDE, within your developer environment, and you could access the board from Visual Studio. You could access the pages from Visual Studio. So it was a weird phenomenon to swap applications or swap products to do the same things that I could used to do in one place. But now I love it.
Oh, cool, great. Yeah, so you've been along with the community then 9 years.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, I remember going to my very first ACE in San Diego. Back in like 20. That would have been 2017. My very first ACE.
All right. Just like, let's play this game.
Okay.
3 things that you would love Atlassian to bring back that are not existing anymore, but that you would love Atlassian to bring back. We can just like do this, just like I say something, do you say something? You want to start?
Sure. So I think that the Charlie logo, I think that was iconic, and I think people brand and image. I think people we have nostalgia over it within the community. I think that'd be kind of cool to maybe like as an Easter egg or something official or something unofficial. I think it'd be kind of cool to see that.
All right. Do you know why it's called Charlie?
I've heard the stories, but it's not coming off the top of my mind right now. So
all right. You know Atlassian, Atlas, right? And there was I think some weightlifter called Charles Atlas.
Okay.
And that's why it's called Charlie, because he was also a little bit pumped, just like weightlifting.
Carrying the weight of the world on him.
Charles Atlas, right? Yeah. Atlas and Atlassian, Charlie. That's why it's called
There we go.
Charlie. All right. So my number 3 is actually what Atlassian should bring back is, I feel like, funny T-shirts. I think we had more funny T-shirts in the past. We had this these HipChat shirts that was super fun.
Yeah, I seen the Jira
HipChat pirate.
I seen that Godzilla or something like that. There was a pirate shirt or something like that. If you were, there was like a special mode for very special Jira admins back then.
Yeah. So I had also this alien shirt where bring me to my community leader or something. Beam me up to my community leader. It was fun. So I would love to Atlassian to bring back funny shirts. That was the thing. I have my whole closet is full of Atlassian shirts. Not very recent shirts, but very outdated past shirts. Also shirts that are not politically correct anymore, but they were in the past. I can share it at another, maybe on a private.
Yeah, we have one that we've been making on the Jira Life is you can fork your code, but not your customer.
Love it.
Yeah,
right.
So I think we got that one out. Yeah, you can fork your code, but not your customer.
So let's go to number 2. What should Atlassian bring back? Do you have something else?
This one's gonna hurt. This one's recent, but it's something that I'm profoundly passionate about. But that UI, I would like my old one back.
I heard that already. Yeah, you mentioned that already here. Bring back
Sven,
the old Jira.
Okay, so look, I spend 12 hours a day in Jira. 12 hours every single day, right? I'm coaching people, tutoring people, I am presenting, I'm learning, I am evangelizing, I'm doing everything. I am clicking in that UI for 12 straight hours every single day, 5 days a week. And when you move a button on me, Sven, it makes a big impact. Okay?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And I'll give you a really great example. When you click on the search button up at the top in Jira, you get a menu so you can search, right? It gives you a bunch of stuff. But at the very, very bottom, there's a button that says view all issues or view all work items now, right? And awesome, that was there. Somebody at Atlassian decided to stick in a Jira home button down there now. And so I go down there and click on it. And now I'm redirected to another tab to go to Jira Home every day now. And I'm like, why am I going to Jira Home? I just want to see all my work.
Yeah, yeah.
But stuff like that,
I feel you. So once I was in Confluence, a keyboard shortcut, I think it was RG. You press this RG, then a little pop-up came, and then you can type in a page name, and it listed all your recently visited pages, and you could just like with the cursor key, just like go down to the page, or just like hit enter, and then we'll get you to the page. And I used that so much, and then they removed it. The focus was not anymore on this box, so you have to just like click into it, and it was a big hassle for me. And I contacted the support and say, hey, bring back that menu. It's just, and they said, I mean, obviously someone just like that didn't know, just like removed it, and I was probably the only power user of this keyboard shortcut. I don't know, but it was such a productivity loss from that. I totally get it. Yeah. So my number 2 is what Atlassian should bring back is it was before your time, but it was angry nerds. I don't know if you know that, but we had this April Fool of saying, oh, we have built a game, not Angry Birds, which was super popular around the 2010s, 11s, right? But Angry Nerds. And that became so popular, right? There were T-shirts, angry nerd T-shirts. I was at conferences, and people were just like crazy about these Angry Nerd T-shirts. They wanted them. We said we had created a game called Angry Nerds, and actually the whole Summit previous teams, right? Conference keynote was in this Angry Nerds theme. So everyone loved that so much. So I think it's time to bring back that.
Yeah. My number 1 is going to be very similar. I would say bring back the Easter eggs. When I sat down with Mike, and to hear that Confluence and Jira used to have all these Easter eggs nested into the tool one way, shape, or another, I think Atlassian is such a unique company, but it's such a playful company, right? I don't look at Atlassian, I don't think of like IBM, right? Like that's IBM and Atlassian are not in the same space for me. Which maybe Atlassian wants to be an enterprise company like IBM, but I think what got Atlassian their notoriety and their success is the fact that they were very playful, right? It's a very approachable company. It's a very approachable tool, and I think there's some charm in the playfulness of the tool as well. So I would love to see a couple of Easter eggs, like maybe a special work item that ships with Jira that's just like Charlie or something.
I guess there are still some Easter eggs in the tools.
They're in there, but I would like maybe kind of very similar to yours, right? Like on April 1st, if some part of Jira can change, like maybe the ultimate Easter egg would be on April 1st, 2026. Everything changes back to issues for a day. Work item.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Or maybe we change it back to the old UI just for 24 hours.
Yeah, just for you, Alex.
It's got you.
There was actually we just like did a recent Ship It. That's our quarterly hackathon that we do, and one team, they actually built in Confluence whiteboard a racing game, a Formula 1 racing game. So you could just like use the cursor keys and then build your tracks with on whiteboards, right? Build your track, and then you could race it actually. And cool. Yeah, and one comment from famous Mike Cannon Brooks was, Oh, ship it as an Easter egg, please. So maybe it's coming. Just
Maybe
saying
I'll
that.
keep my
Maybe
fingers
it's
crossed.
coming.
That
Yeah.
would be cool. Like, if I'm not saying like put it on the UI front and center, but like if you found the right combination of like create a Jira project, put 5 bugs in it, they have to be named with this particular name, and that unlocks a new board. that
Yeah.
like you'd have to like fight for it a little bit, like not just like click a button and you're in it, but like if you set up the right combination of boards and work items or a configuration or a workflow, then it unlocks it.
Yeah, maybe we should have another episode of just talk about possible Easter eggs that we just want to see in Jira, Confluence, and Loom. So my number one is what Atlassian should bring back. Drum roll. It's bring back Stride. I don't know if you have used Stride.
I've heard of it.
It was so we had HipChat, and then
I know I was gonna say I thought you were gonna say HipChat. That's where I thought you were going.
No, HipChat. I think there was a reason why we just like had to say, okay, we need to rewrite HipChat, and we call it Stride. And it was still better than Slack, but I don't know. They just like killed it, killed the product, and sold it to Slack. But I think it was a really great product, and I really love to use it. And I really miss they had something like in there like, hey, this decision, so it was marked as a decision in your chat tool. So there was really a great chat tool that I'm really missing, and I get why Slack was so popular, and there was just like no way. And I think we at Atlassian we wanted to concentrate on Jira and other things that was taking a little bit away from the whole like collaboration side. But I think nowadays, like, okay, would really fit into the Atlassian portfolio, but I know it's too late. But I really love the product itself. It was one of my favorite Atlassian products, and I think it lasted for not even 1 year, and then got killed.
My first, I don't know that I've ever used that tool, but I remember using HipChat and seeing HipChat for the first time because I came from the defense world, and we had, I don't know if you remember Link, which became Skype.
Yes. Yeah.
So I came from the world of 1-to-1 IM only. You couldn't do a group chat. Like that was impossible. And so when I discovered HipChat and we rolled it out in the defense company, and we're like, wait, I can talk to 2 people at the same time? and the histories remembered. Like I can scroll up. That was like revolutionary for me. But it was a great time. It was I love the evolution of Atlassian. I think I used to be a little bit more bitter. I think talking with Mike really opened up my perspective because Mike said something super valuable where he's like, we got 300,000 customers. We got to appease them somehow, but we also have to build the product for the next 300,000 customers. And that to me was like, okay, take your new UI. I'll live with it. I'll figure it out. Because you have to create something that's going to grow, right? And I'd rather see the success and growth of Atlassian than my attachment issues to the old UI.
Yeah, makes sense.
But love where you guys are going. Love where Atlassian's going. I think it's going to be an interesting time. I don't see a lot of competition. I feel like Microsoft's a bigger competition right now for Atlassian than Monday is, because entering this enterprise world it's a beast. It's where I came from, but yeah, we'll see how we fare. But I'm very hopeful. I'm very excited to be here with Atlassian, and I'm just can't wait to do even more with partnering up more with Atlassian.
Yeah, I think I'm here since a long time. We talked about that, but I feel like there's so much going on right now in terms of, especially like Rovo and AI, just like that changes a lot, and I'm just like super excited about to see what people are doing with this and where the world is going in terms of AI and how much people help. With just like adding agents to the workflows and let things done automatically with Gen AI. The possibilities are just like so many.
I think I'm actually kind of pivoting myself a little bit too to kind of figure out how do I capitalize on this to help people be creative, because like I was telling you, I still feel like the majority of the people, have you ever seen a Bug's Life? And I know we're out of time, but just real quickly, have you ever seen a Bug's Life when the leaf falls down and it breaks the chain? And
yeah.
I'm freaking out, and then Flick comes down. And he's like, "You just got to go around the leaf. You got to go around to continue the track." Like, I feel like that's my job. I feel like I'm Flick with not just Atlassian, but with the other stuff that I do, which is like people get stuck. The moment something changes on them, they got stuck. That the leaf fell, and they're like, "Uh-oh, where do we go from here?" And I'm like, "Guys, you just got to go around the leaf." Anyway, Sven, thank you so much for being here. I don't want to make you late for anything else, so thanks for everything.
Thanks for having me. It was fun to talk to you.